Joining the Service Bureau Accelerator was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Literally, I can't even imagine that I was thinking about quitting, being in this industry to now thinking about the amount of ways I can really grow and have a piece of the pie in this industry. And the Service Bureau Accelerator really kind of made that a vision, and not only made it a vision, but made it tangible. So my name is Tia the Tax Goddess. That's what they know me as here in the DMV area. I have been a tax professional for 7 years. I have had my own business just for 4 years. And 2 of those 4 years or 4 seasons, I've, actually been with you guys.
All right, yeah, your journey's been a bit different on the path to this. Service Bureau Accelerator is a relatively new program we launched last year, but obviously we have other programs. So I remember from speaking to you before, and we'll get into the Service Bureau stuff in a minute, but from speaking to you before, you were thinking about leaving the industry like 2 years in, right?
Yes. So I had gotten to a point where I was lost. Is the biggest way to say it. I thought I did everything I needed to do. I had my EFIN, I had my P10. I was registered as a business, and I was very passionate. But the way that I was trying to take my business, it wasn't really accepted into the tax industry at the time, which was like virtual tax preparation. And honestly, I really didn't have the knowledge in income coming in to kind of maintain the traditional brick and mortar that everyone can, kind of pushes you towards. And I just feel like I wasn't taking myself seriously, and I wasn't taking the business seriously. So I'm like, look, either I'm going to find someone who's an expert in this field to help me, or I'm just going to quit. And I think at that time I had about maybe $3,000 in my pocket. And I had spoken with so many different people who are like marketing gurus. And I'm like, but it's more than marketing. I need someone who understands my type of marketing, because the tax business, especially the primary people that I target, it's very niche. So you have to have someone who kind of knows what they're doing.
Right.
And that's when your ad popped up on my Instagram page.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other journey, a whole other story for the other thing. But that kind of led you to being kind of indoctrinated to being presented the opportunity when the Service Bureau Accelerator launched. I know the year before we launched the Service Bureau Accelerator, I know you were under another service bureau, and from what I recall, I'm like, Tia, you're getting ripped off. I'm just gonna set you up. Don't worry about this. And then Service Bureau Accelerator popped up. But at that point, you still didn't know what a really Service Bureau was, I don't think. But prior to joining the Service Bureau Accelerator, and when you got a bit more clarity on it, what did you know about the Service Bureau industry and that side of the business?
So as you said before, I didn't even know that there was a thing called a Service Bureau. They were kind of described to me as, these are the people that you need to connect with in order to be connected to the IRS to get your software through. So more like software distributors is, what I came to, understand at that time. I didn't even know that the software that I was using was, branded software. I just thought, it is their software, but I didn't know that all these things were kind of connected onto this bigger scope. And I did have like a conference. And I would say that there was for me, my business, there was a soft launch into the Service Bureau when I had that conversation with people. Hey, this is what's going on. I'm just frustrated. And to me, my first year was actually before it officially launched, where I kind of understood like, oh, wow, so I'm them now, in this position. And then when the Service Bureau Accelerator officially launched, it's like, okay, now I'm them, and now I know what to do, being in that, new hierarchy of the tax business, so to say. So it was very enlightening. I mean, it was like a smack in the face when you're like, Tia, no, you don't understand what I'm saying. This is going to them. I'm like, but no, it's going to the software. You're like, no, it's going to them. It can come to you.
Yeah, let's dive into that, because that was an interesting conversation, and we kind of recapped the numbers again recently. So prior to getting set up, and there's last year, this is before the Service Bureau Accelerator, basically gave you a Service Bureau deal without the branded software. I was like, hey, do this, right? Like, this is what you need to do. But really the benefit wasn't more so, for you to grow the Service Bureau at that time or even consider that an option. It was for you not to get ripped off with the deal you were getting. So talk through a bit about like what, like your deal before, like you were an EFIN holder, right? You went through a Service Bureau. What did they give you? Like, what was the cost per product? Like, as those of you guys watching this at some point, there's a cost on a per product level, per bank product. And there's fees associated with that. What was those fees for you?
So let me kind of just thank you all, because one thing I can definitely say is there is always transparency, and being in the tax industry, you look for that, you look to get that. People kind of sell that to you, but they don't actually deliver on that. And I've realized that that's more important than anything, and that's what kind of builds integrity. So thank you guys for doing
I know
that.
You were surprised when in July that last year I sent you a bunch of money and you're like, what was this for? I'm like,
no, I was done. You saw where I went.
You're gone.
Yes, but my fees, when I had that conversation with you, I realized I was paying, no lie, $204 per person that used my my bank.
Well, just let's be clear. You weren't paying it. Your customer was paying it.
They were paying, yes, the $204.
And then out of the $204, how much of that did you get in your pocket?
Nothing. I was actually told that those were just additional processing fees.
They were just software fees. Like that's where we get to the transparency. Because when you showed me those numbers and I'm looking at them like, no, those are all going to them. And you're like, no, those are software fees. And I'm like, no, this is the software fee because this is the standard software fee. Here's their markup. What are they? And it's not so much on, hey, it's a bad deal or not, right? Because that's not always the case.
Absolutely.
It's more so, hey, Tia, what are they doing for you for that money? Like, what is the benefit of you being there for that money? And that's really what we wanted to uncover at that time. And it kind of transitioned to, well, not really much, right? Yeah. So let's kind of fast forward a bit. The customer, the cost of the customer, $204 extra, right? That could be baked into prep fees and all that stuff if you had a bit more flexibility. But now, you're in the position as your own service bureau. And let's not talk about any of the other people you have signed up or that yet, but how did that affect your business, just kind of transitioning and just being in control of those fees?
So empowering is really the biggest word I can use. And let me tell you, even if you only know 50% of what you're doing, to see that 50% turn out to be 100% more than what you've ever gotten was still a lot. So when I my first check was, 5 figures in service bureau fees. And I'm just like astounded, like, what? And it's really, really motivating. Again, because you understand. And even going back to that case, even if I knew it was 204, but I was incentivized, like, okay, this is what you have. Now you can add on here, or now you get a value incentive here. I've received none of that. And not even talk about support. There were no weekly phone calls. There were no strategy sessions. There was no tech support. I was literally on my own. And being with you guys, you still are on your own, but you're not by yourself.
Right.
It's like, it's the Facebook group. It's the, oh my gosh, like 5 trainings a week on different things. The self-paced training, even conversations like these, like you're always there, you pick up your phone. The team is amazing. And it really just feels different knowing that at the end of the day, this is all to better my business. And that, again, there's the transparency and like, hey, look, we're giving you this, and how you, dissect it and use it is really up to you, but this is kind of what we recommend. It's just kind of put me in a totally different position. I mean, I was in a deficit. Now I'm at a point where My clients are no longer paying 204. I'm now getting, at least one half of that on the back end, not including I have my upsells that I now can include as a part of those services, which is like just additional income that's coming in. So my bank account is ringing off the hook. I'll be honest with you. I don't get a lot of phone calls. And I just see the money come in my account. So I am just really happy. It's actually easier than running a tax office.
It is. Once you get it going, it definitely is. Right?
It is.
The service bureau side, like, depending on the types of clients you bring in, there's going to be different levels of support, right? But yeah, once they figure out the first week or two is like, there's like, all right, how do I do this, that, and that? Once they figure it out, there's really not much else to do. You just wait for the money to come. Training, right? So part of what we feel separates our program from anybody else out there in the industry that is the training, right? There's nothing else out there that will not only set you up with a real service bureau deal like we give you, but also train you on best practices and actually how to grow the thing, right? Most people, from what we have seen, all they do is they'll give you software and say, hey, good luck, go find some clients, right? Have fun, go have at it. Maybe you'll get a fancy website. That's about it. So can you walk us through kind of like your experiences on the training side? And now, full disclosure, you are also part of the team on the community management side, right? So like, I was like, Tia, I think it would be great to kind of motivate people because you're a very motivating person. So why don't you hop on the team and, help us out with like onboarding people, making sure they're following the training process. So you were kind of behind the scenes too and seeing how everything was built out, but also at the same time, you did pay us to join. So you were still a student as well, or part of the program as well. So you kind of have the perspective from both ends. Why don't you share a bit about, that whole process for you?
Let me say this. There is no group out there like this. There is no company. There is no software. There is no membership program like the Service Bureau Accelerator, like hands down. Cannot be touched. I just don't know how else to express it. From the back end, actually bringing people who are on, and I call this like the ground level, being in the community, talking to the members, knowing that they're coming back with certain issues, me being able to bring those to you all, through the launch of this program, and you actually make massive action. Like, okay, this is what the community needs. This is what we're going to give them. Like, that is insurmountable. Let's be clear, we're not paying monthly membership fees for this.
Right.
For this, this is information. These are gems that you all are just kind of dropping down to us, that we're grateful for. Even on the bigger scope of the program, the education, it goes beyond service bureau. Like I said, it's the foundations of starting a business. How to start an email, how to do a professional email, what your branding and color, should look like. Even down to like your target market, more advanced things, of course, such as running ads, creative marketing strategies. It's something where I can take it, and yes, I know and understand my business, but I feel so empowered that if I wanted to go and sell, folders, I have, that mindset to do it. And I think a part that you all cover that I have never seen in because of course I have done training before I've gotten to this point, which was the point where I was fed up, is the mindset. I think that is something that is completely overlooked. And I realize now where I was before was in, I wouldn't say a dark place, but a really like low and insecure place of, do I have what it takes? And not knowing that the difference between the goal that I wanted to make and where I was just shifting my mindset.
Right. Yeah. We spent a lot of time. It's not like we spend a ton of time on it, but we do have trainings on mindset. And even like, we did a random call, not really random, but we did a scheduled coaching call last week, right? Or this week, actually, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even supposed to be about that. But before we got into what the topic was about, a lot of it had to do with just getting in the right state of mind. And a lot of it people don't realize is, you know, if you want to make more money, make more sales. We spend a lot of time on sales, and we'll probably talk about that here in a bit, but you're not going to make sales if your mind's not right.
Yeah. And we have community. Like, the community is phenomenal. I love so many of the businesses that are in the community that just are, you know, pivoting or positioning themselves to really be like leaders. Is really inspiring to see. The group is so supportive. If you heard of the term like competition does not exist, that's really like the epitome of the community that, you know, you all have built. And I don't even think it was intentional. Okay, yeah, let me put a whole bunch of businesses that are the same in one community and see what happens. It's so loving and authentic, and we share so much information. Even on the bigger scale, to see that the tax, you know, industry is starting to regain itself, you know, in numbers just shows what you can do when you have collective action. So I am excited.
Bureaus, like the traditional service bureau out there, like, and I'm sure there's other service bureaus that watch, like we brought in service bureaus, existing service bureaus to this program. And I think what a lot of the things that shifted in their thought is, most service bureaus out there have to go and demo a software. They have to go and set up a call. Let's demo it. Oh, here's a demo account too. Play with it. And it's a real true software sale. Like it's longer sales process, and it's time consuming, right? And you have to go through each section. Oh, this is why this is cool. That this goes on this form and blah, 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 that no one gives a shit about, right? Where we try and focus everyone, which I think is why everyone's being really successful, the ones who implement it, is our sales process has nothing to do with the damn software.
Absolutely. Because my sales is, this is why I'm great. This is why you should be under Tia the Tax Goddess. This is what I have to offer. This is where I'm going to take you. And, you know, get people hyped and motivated.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, like, you know, forget the software. I've had people that come to me that wanted to be under my service bureau, meaning they wanted to have my mentorship, but they already had their software. And I'm like, nah, come to me when your contract is done, because I'm a whole package. Exactly. You know, and it is tempting when it's, oh, I'll give you this amount of money, but I have to also understand that that's not what I'm looking to do. And I don't need to, again, going back to what you said, have one package, have one deal, and be so good at that, you know, and really dive in. So I understand that this is my one deal and this is what I'm good at. And the more I try to conform and, you know, pretty much, you know, do it your way, it's going to take more time and energy from me than what it's worth. So again, that goes back to sales. Again, you know, not chasing after the shiny object, which, right. You know, excuse me, maybe at one point I was like, oh, maybe I should do that a bit just to get the money, but no, it's more than that for me.
No, because the front end money on just coaching them, but not getting the benefit of the back end money on the service bureau side is not worth it. Ever, in any scenario, right? You're, like you said, you're the package deal. And that's why our group is so successful when they go out and sell, because they don't have to demo the damn software. They're selling the package.
We're bomb. We are bomb. You see us.
Yeah, it was the other day, like this is being recorded in March, middle of tax season. Yesterday, coming a day after our first call of the year, one of our members, somebody said, oh, I made 3 sales at $100 in one day per sale, and then more appointments lined up, right? So like that's money up front, and that's not because of what software they have. It's because of the package and the opportunity that they put together.
It has nothing. And going through this program, what you said at one time was like, guys, think about the process that we took you all through. That's the same thing that we're teaching you to do for your client. And I was like, I've never seen the software. And I purchased it because of everything that was, you know, included. Oh, I get access to this guy? Yeah, I'm in there. He's awesome. He's amazing. And on the phone calls with a lot of the members, we get, we call them rock stars. There's so much great feedback about the program. Because, man, what's that? Oh, deep, I love that guy. Like, I just like his energy. He's amazing. Like, you know, Ross, you know, everyone loves Ross' voice. Like, people just really love They love the program overall, what you all have to offer. And just like microbits, they're just always just praising, like, I love the onboarding. People love the onboarding process. It was like, I've paid more money for stuff and have got worse customer service when it comes to onboarding. They love the training. Now, whether they apply it or not is a different story, but they love the experience. And I think that's something, if you can create that experience, everything else will come along the way. And the fact that we had such a great turnout with the meeting, still in tax season, that lets me know, like, yeah, we're doing something right.
Yeah. What are you most excited about going into next year? What are you most, for you as a service bureau?
I'm most excited about the pathways, about being able to select a track that works best for you, and really being able to follow that track, from beginning to end for your service bureau, from, marketing to sales pitching, to setup and management. That's what I'm really excited about, because you want what you receive to be as unique as you are. I think the members are going to be also really excited about it, and it will kind of really just lay out that framework so that they can really be successful in their growth.
They can take it and run with it.
Yeah.
All right, one final question and then we'll wrap it up. What would you like to tell anybody that is looking at joining our Service Bureau Accelerator program? Final words for them.
Oh God. It is really priceless. Joining the Service Bureau Accelerator was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Literally, I can't even imagine that I was thinking about quitting, being in this industry, to now thinking about the amount of ways I can really grow and have a piece of the pie in this industry. And the Service Bureau Accelerator really kind of made that a vision, and not only made it a vision, but made it tangible. So yeah, sign up.